Friends, welcome to Battletech Oath of Endosteel, season whatever, episode 5, 3029, the final waning times of it. Now, while my friends here collect their notes and their thoughts, and we walk away from the West Wing, it should be noted that there is a important announcement that I've been waiting almost 30 days, 29 days to make. And that is that Rad's character, Malika Musavi, her opponent is the Thug pilot from the Draconis Combine. And I previously mentioned that this person was male, but in fact, Rad is writing this fan fiction for us, this Oath of Endosteel. That pilot is female. Do I know anything else about her? No. Has Rad shared anything? No, but he wanted to make it very clear that that pilot was a woman. So here we are.
There's art for her, isn't there?
Do what?
There's art for her, isn't there?
No, the art's for Malika Musavi, not for the Thug pilot. Yeah. Malika's the Black Knight pilot.
Okay.
Rad has written like a third of a fan fiction about how they become star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet style, across the border, seeking each other out, both in combat and in the bedroom.
And she told Morgan all about it for just out of absolutely nowhere.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to play Rad's character canonically accurate, all right? It may not be my cup of tea, because my cup of tea is orange tea, but...
It was wonderful. Now... All right.
I'm going to overview this, because it has probably been about 8 months since we've done an end of year thingy.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
First
I remember
off,
how to do this.
We have our guest star here today, the Admiral Lebeau, Acquisitions Admiral, Agent of Commerce, and other such titles that hide the fact that he's a commerce raider, is here and has some things to say with the players. The players have some things to say to him. We got to wrap up that storyline, because the last thing that happened, shockingly enough, I know it's been difficult. Maybe you're watching this in like 3 or 4 months from now, from our time, and you're like, yeah, I just watched the last episode. Yeah, it's been a while for us.
I have no idea.
There's like a month between every episode for us, okay? It's rough.
I don't remember at all.
So Lebeau's brother is dead. The base is still alive, but has no military defense and no way to leave. We have returned.
Can we also take their food?
Yeah, they have a single hetzer to defend themselves with, and you took their tradable materials.
Yes,
right.
You didn't take their food. You took their
they're
germanium.
broke, defenseless, and hiding on an asteroid.
Perfect.
But they have a strong reputation, though, of being really scary. So if anyone shows up, they can just be like, "Ooh,
yeah,
you don't want to mess with us."
People there still believe that my fleet hangs around that rock.
Yeah.
Look, we posted this in the hyperpulse generators to the rest of Davian space. Are we the asshole? And they said firmly not the asshole.
I mean, honestly, these people are extraordinarily lucky that it was Anko they were dealing with and not Jasper, because let's be real, Jasper probably would have hung all of them, because pirates are pirates.
I want to remind you that was the plan for Philip, or not Philip, Yusuf. Yusuf was literally like, man, we should play hardball with these guys. Pirates.
So now that we have left, I just want you to know that he, like, when he proposed this, he was thinking you guys were going to capture all these people, and then Lebeau planned to hang them all. So
fair enough. The end results would have been the same.
Yeah, basically.
So part 1, we talked to Lebeau.
It was Anko.
Number 2, we need to do the Karensky Ball, which this year I think was hosted by House Khan? Is that who agreed to do it? No, you're shaking your head. I don't remember who.
No,
agreed.
I'm Genji. For some reason, Genji is sticking out
Genji
of my head
is
as being the one
your
who's
boy
hosting
Genji's
it.
still in a coma, so
So
it's unlikely that he chose to host the Karensky Ball, since he isn't able to speak.
I thought Khan was hosting the next one.
We don't decide. Oh, it's Audrey Lafayette. There we go. You don't choose who does the next one until the end of the... It's the last thing you do with the balls. Choose who does it.
I knew it was someone in the Hawk faction.
It's Lafayette. I mean...
Hawk
what would you call... Is she a Hawk just because she likes to fly above battlefields?
Isn't she's on like the Genji funds the military? What?
Sure. I mean, it's hard to have a faction when you've been shot in the arm and you're the only person left. You know?
Fair. That's a good point. I should try to recruit her to my faction.
Number 3, we will probably not get to it, but we do have end of the year paperwork to do. And, since the last episode, 2 different groups have asked me about using the Oath of Endosteel rules, which, again, are fully public and are in the description section, if not of this video, then of the earlier videos. Yes, it's definitely in the earlier videos. And if you need it, apgamingreal@gmail.com. If you send anything other than advice to me, I will destroy you. Hey, look, man, I'm just saying. I've gotten some weird emails on my content creator account. That's all I'm saying. I doubt we'll get past that end of the year stuff. But let's kick back. It's late October, early November, which means, of course, that the McDougal children have their birthday. I might remind you they were born the night of Halloween. Lebeau, your friends, well, let's call them friends is so familiar. Your employers?
I mean, I'm a knight
Your
of House
acquaintances have returned.
Liege Lord.
I mean, yes, your liege lord has returned.
Okay, so my fleet went out. I imagine because I was trying to get my compounds set up, I probably stayed behind.
Yes, your on planet has gone okay. I mean, you've had some slight problems. The person in charge of construction on the planet died
So
recently in the war. So, like, all of her companies are searching for an heir to run them. And while you contact them, they're like, oh, listen, we can give you some quotes and some estimates and we can get started, but we can't get, like, most of it done until we find a new CEO slash
as a notable
liege lord.
thing, when the Admiral made a deal with House Khan offered to pay part of the material costs.
Okay.
And given the civilian personnel that Lebeau has, he was very particular about ensuring that all construction was only done by his own people.
Then it's going to be really slow construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
Sorry,
like,
we need a Six Sigma project manager, and they gatekeep those qualifications to people of a particular bloodline. So it's gonna be a while. All right, that's
then your compound is being built slowly, and perhaps you're living out of public housing, hotels.
No way.
I mean, the Admiral is going to live on one of his ships.
No, hold on. No. Hold on. I'm Admiral. You've been a huge asset to us. I would offer you hospitality at, my estate.
He would gladly take the offer.
Yeah. You can hang out at the Heartlands of Aroka.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do. I keep you away from any military sensitive stuff, but I'm pretty busy. So if you wanted to snoop around, you kind of might have a chance. But also, I probably don't take home too much from me.
Isn't there half a dragoon somewhere on your land?
Yeah, it's that's in the field.
No, it's not.
I think it was in a barn.
It's a pole. Yeah,
Just open the barn. You're like, oh, classic.
Corn silo.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Interesting.
right. We did put it in a corn silo.
You're opening a corn silo and being like, there's a King Tiger in here, and it's painted in Nazi German colors. What the fuck?
There's an interesting number of armed guards for this silo. But yeah, he's not going to do anything to abuse the hospitality.
There's a lot of rats around here. Okay.
Philip Davies comes back and reports, the progress to you, Jasper. I wouldn't say he had thrilling heroics, but he got the job done.
Hey.
He reports favorably on Yusuf.
Anytime my squire comes back home in one piece, I give him a big old hug. Say, come on, your parents are looking forward to seeing you.
He's resistant to this because he knows his parents are just going to unload a wave of pastries upon him.
He doesn't like the pastries.
That and speeches about hardware.
Yeah,
I mean, look, there's a limit.
His mom's a
EricVulgaris,
pâtissier, right?
yes, there's a limit to how many pastries a man can eat in his life. Okay,
Not when your mom's a friggin' French bakery expert. Give me as many macarons as until I'm physically sick, please.
I mean, it's been very, very harmful to my health.
Hold on.
I live a block away from a vegan bakery that is just the best.
Let's talk about this for a second, because we're literally coming from the recovery of a we're in the recovery aspects of a war, right? And this noble's like, I gotta eat so many delicious pastries. Oh, my life. So it's delicious. I'm into it.
In return for the hospitality, the admiral would let Baron Haroka know that he has significant airlift capability, which he would be more than willing to assist you in moving materials about your lands or to other lands with air transport.
Just some casual dropship, touch off, touchdown.
Well, he also has
Ro-ros,
cargo conventional aircraft and beef halls and stuff that can transport cargo.
I've seen your list, yes.
So
maybe you need some airdrop marines as well. Just do some gardening.
I'm currently selling my meta wheat off planet at exorbitant prices to somebody.
Correct. You will be known as a war profiteer, but you're going to get paid at the end of this year.
Right. Okay. So I will regretfully decline because I'm working at maximum capacity already.
Coca-Cola, Nestea, Hiroka.
I'm in good company. I don't know. Did Ford
just
War
lost 2 big
profiteer when they pumped out 10,000 B-17s?
Oh my
God. How much time passed? Like how much time were they off planet again?
It was summer, and now it's turning to the end of fall.
Okay, so like a couple of months.
Because I have kind of a bunch of things that Lachlan was probably doing.
That's fair.
But
Can we talk to Lebeau first? Since Kate Damiel's a guest and we don't, we can't get here every week. I do actually have Sundays off with my weird schedule, so it's actually really easy to schedule me.
Look, we've just had guests before, and it's been hard to get them back. I feel like we should maximize guest time.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you keep playing on Sundays, it'll be really. I will be the easy one. All right. What are your plans, McDougal? What? You couldn't even remember what your plans were before, but hit me now.
It's all coming back to me. The thing about the way I play this game, AP, is it's like jazz. I don't need to remember what happened last time to improvise the next notes.
All right. New EricVulgaris.
Oh my God. Beautiful though.
Before anybody joined Eric was telling me about his Miles Davis obsession.
Yeah, we were literally talking about jazz, and I've been on a jazz kick lately.
Kind of Blue is an all-time great record. Anyway, So there's like kind of a couple things. I remembered what my legislation is, so I probably need to like talk to some people about like that before the Karensky Ball.
You want me to remind you of what the other legislation other people on planet are putting together?
That would be great. In fact.
So the House of Bassett, which is technically the House of Bassett-Latour, but each of them is introducing different legislation.
Hold on. I thought that they only have one Senate
they
vote
do,
because they combined their House.
Correct.
Okay.
Angelique and Sebastian are introducing different legislation. So Sebastian is putting out legislation for relief of tax burdens on industries that have suffered mightily during the war. So basically, businesses that are pro-Bassett are being targeted for this particular bill. It's specific in how it cherry picks different industries. Have you ever seen the book for the bill for the SLS? Where they were like, normally when the government is sent to build something, they're like, all right, we're gonna make a contract, build something. And the SLS bill is literally like, make sure you use a Boeing engine that has at least this much thrust. And I'm like, this is how I know that lobbyists wrote this bill. Because there's no one in the government that knows what that fucking engine is.
Yeah.
That's what Bassett has done here. He's like, very specifically, a business between 5 and 30 individuals located in this section of the capital city.
Yeah, well, so
Not thrilled about it.
Are any of Lachlan's businesses targeted?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that you're specifically targeted, but everyone's businesses on Whittington will be caught up in the tax relief, right? But of course, that means less dollars for the government at the top end.
Yeah, but what kind
bill,
of services do we provide? We're like Davian. We don't even probably provide free healthcare.
What? That's ridiculous. The Davians have the 5 fundamental rights of being Davian. They're literally one of the few governments that openly allow for public services that aren't beat you in your house until you're dead, like the Maskarova or the Dest.
That's true. Could be the Free World League.
So that's Bassett.
Listen, the thing about the Free Worlds League is
oh god, no, I got it started.
How democratic it is depends on which author is writing it. So the Free Worlds League is literally just like a bunch of small countries that get together, and one super country's like, all right, you all belong to me, and they're like, well, do we? And they're like, yeah, you do. All right, so Angelique Latour's legislation is to expand veteran services, especially for those affected by post-traumatic stress disorder from the forced secession war. A bill that she's calling the Sebastian Bassett Latour Relief Bill.
Oh my.
Named after her husband, who is famously suffering PTSD after both the bombing took his arm and then the betrayal by his own men on the retreat out of the city that left him with almost no mechs. He's had it rough being a slum crime lord and betraying everybody constantly. And
I mean, karma's a bitch, you know?
what do you got, McDougal? What's your bills look like?
Well, I want to probably talk to some of the other people because I think Lachlan wants to try to kind of conglomerate some of this stuff into like one big
omnibus spending bill,
omnibus spending package. Where
you're doing that thing where you're like, all right, so we're going to build the engine in Indiana, but we do the wheels in Georgia. That way, those senators are on board.
Correct. And obviously, like the thing is like, you know, he's going to try to specifically target senators who had their shit more hurt by the war, right? Like his business, luckily his businesses took a big hit during the war.
Yeah.
Oh, what a coincidence. I need funding. You know, and obviously Hiroka, we're going to need food. Got to give the Hirokas some money.
I got to be honest, the Hirokans are doing better than normal, honestly.
Okay, well then
if you're like, there are businesses that have been hit by the war, Hiroka's like, we fought a big battle on 2 acres of the farm. We are heroes, and our profits are record. CEO is taking a year vacation.
So maybe not them, but you know. Anyway, we're just gonna fucking too big to fail a bunch of shit and throw a bunch of money everywhere. That's fine.
Okay. So you're wrapping in
money we don't
bill.
have. Yeah. I want to spend money we don't have.
That's okay. That's very American of you, which means it's very Davian of you.
So I maybe want to maybe have to talk to Sebastian about kind of tuning up his tax bill to kind of combine those together to make it like really, so we are really slashing the money coming in while upping the money going out. Then the other thing that I really want to have spent the last couple months doing is if no one wants von Hohenheim's businesses, I sure do. I need a lot of construction work on a giant construction project that got funded and then derailed by a war. So I would like to do what I can about just kind of scooping up any loose von Hohenheim assets.
Wow.
I need to protect your people. Jana would want to make sure that her people were protected. And I need to make sure that they don't get, you know, there are all sorts of
it's your fiduciary duty.
You know, outside business, outside investor money that's coming in. We don't want these foreign entities. We love Jacobson, but we don't want foreign entities to own Whittington. It's better to keep these things at home. It's really for the good of everyone that
just know I'm sick over listening to you. That's how you know you're doing it right. It's disgusting.
Oh yeah, truly abhorrent.
Douchery duty. You should know that I was talking to someone in chat the other day while I was playing, and they're like, I haven't seen Endosteel in a while. but that's good because Lachlan McDougall is the worst character I've ever seen. I just fucking loathe him. I hate what he does. I was like, you know what I mean, Samurai? He's like, oh, no, I like Sam. I just think that Lachlan McDougall is actually Satan. I was like, I mean, all right, well, that's straightforward.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, like when I conceived the character, I kind of like the one of the goals was to just like be emblematic of all of like the shittiest, most worst hypocrisy of like kind of political and social elitism. So
So then when we play our children, inevitably, and we look back at them, we only remember the good things, and it's like funny to have that disconnect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Lachlan is scum because he wields his privilege like an absolute weapon that it is as a rich nobleman. And so he will continue to do so by acquiring the assets of his close friend's dead wife, while all the while patting himself on the back and pretending he's a good guy for doing so.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna need you to make a massive fucking negotiation roll on this.
I feel like there's gonna be some counter negotiation from Khan.
Oh, are you trying to? Interesting. What's Khan's play here?
Well, I think this is like a establishing a ground space to like support the new fleet that we have in space, and we need people to build infrastructure and things like that.
But once you're in, why would they accept you?
Well, one, there is the family tie.
Just
but
remember,
I don't know if
politically, the Seppuku family has been labeled as traitors, and the Khans have been absolved of that, as has Our Lady, of course. But if you try to play the family ties with them, they're gonna be like,
No, I think it's more of like a as a recompense to the hardship that my late brother put all of us through. Let us help you take care of the people and rebuild your businesses and things like that, supporting them in that way.
So I'm going to tell both of you, you have to roll against each other, and you have to beat a 12 just to get in the door. And a 12 is like hostile takeover. Everyone there hates you. It's like when Amazon bought Twitch. All right. There will always be a group of employees called the Old Guard at this company that are like, man, we used to run this differently. You know, we used to be a family, and now the soulless corporate takeover.
Now we're just Cracker Barrel.
Question.
Cracker. What a fucking... I like Cracker Barrel, you son of a bitch. I mean, it offers quality, medium quality, non-fast food.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Listen, Cracker Barrel ain't no Shoney's, that's for sure. All right.
I thought we were all okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like the rocking chairs outside. It's very comfortable. You wait for your table. Oh my god!
I didn't know.
Look, I'm not saying
Man
it's like
culpa.
a Michelin star restaurant, but
Mea culpa, man. Let's move on.
I didn't realize that we were dunking on Cracker Barrel. Jesus, they have good cheese. You know that?
Here's my one question: is that does Lachlan get any advantage about the fact that he's on planet and Anko's not?
So I think this is something that
I think it's taking place over a long enough period of time. I'll give you a +1.
I was gonna offer that Lebeau is my stead as
your
my
proxy,
actor.
your
proxy.
factor. I'm still giving him a +1. He's right that it's much more difficult to do this. It's not that much more difficult because these, like, we're talking about the kind of negotiations that will take years to finalize. We're talking about stage 1, right?
Yeah, no, and it's like it's not like Lachlan's going to be showing his face at like a lot of these meetings, right? Like the vast majority is just like lawyers and
right proxies.
Probably.
Yeah, totally.
But like being able to show up at like 1 or 2 and being like, look, I believe in you enough that I'm here is something, right?
It's the Tony Stark touch. It's where you show up in the Iron Man suit and
Right.
everybody's like, oh, it's Tony Stark. Let me get an autograph. You're like, please. Lachlan McDougall. I'm just a man.
Exactly.
Handsome man.
I'm just a man that is much better than you, but a man all the same.
Very well. Thank you.
Okay, I have 8 negotiation.
Oh, Anko, you're looking at an uphill battle.
Question
that's
for
the
you.
art of the deal.
Yeah. Question for you.
Have
How
you
much
read
did
The
it-
Art of the Deal?
No, what, dude? Stop! My shit posting is not. I'm not trying to constitute
I have read
discussions.
The
I
Art
want
of
to
the
get through
Deal.
this.
Okay, you're better
Oh
off.
no. Question for you. How much does it cost to rank up skills again?
Oh Jesus, I don't know. Well, I just run this game, man. I've never made a player character in this game.
God damn it.
It depends on how. I think some
like-
things
it's
depend on
escalating.
how much the costs are, and some don't. I can't
I'm sure that
remember.
Mechwarrior Destiny has a chapter called Advancement.
Oh, there
I'll
definitely
find
is.
it.
I just haven't opened that thing in months.
I'm gonna find it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
If I remember correctly, it's that the stats.
1.5 times the stat, I think.
No,
you're
I
going
think
leveling
stats
two.
are the ones that escalate, and skills are the 1.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, skills are 1.5 times the new rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then stats are the ones that escalate. Okay.
Yep, and the max skill value you can have is 6.
So question for you then. It would be if I leveled up 2 times, it would be the first level up and then the second level up added together
Correct.
as the total cost. Okay.
Yes.
So 1. I need to do math real
For
fast.
game designers, that's known as incremental level. That's it. That's my whole knowledge of game design. Was that one
And is it
line
rounded
right
up
there.
or down?
It is
We've
rounded
rounded up.
up.
Let's look. Yeah, because I remember I got shafted by the rounding up one time.
Okay.
How much XP you got?
I got 17.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, fuck it. This is probably what I'm going to be doing a lot of. So I now have a negotiation of 8.
Bummer.
Bummer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, you have a +1 as well with Google. Make your rolls, gentlemen.
That's a 7
Oh
plus
shit.
8.
+1 is 16.
Plus 1 is 16. Well, let's wait because I may re-roll this one. If
You mean by
I'm
using a
weak to-
point of edge?
Correct.
I forgot to load up tabletop simulator, so give me a second.
Yeah.
And then someone can roll for me.
Is
I'll roll
there
for you.
any is there any work that Lebeau could have been doing in the community to
You got
make
10.
Con look better to help?
10 plus 8 is 18.
I mean,
Crush.
18.
Sorry, man.
So I would need to get 2 more.
You
Yeah,
can
I'll just-
roll 1 or both dice here.
I will re-roll my 1.
Yeah, I figured you'd do that, given that the other's a 6.
And it lands on a 1 again. It is not meant to be.
All right. So I imagine that McDougal's on planet, but he just doesn't, he's not committing the full effort, and Lebeau has nothing better to do. He's there every day negotiating with the remnants of the von Hohenheim group. And in the end, that's the kind of local touch that they're looking for. They want to put a face on that leadership. And that's why they have decided to go with Philip Lebeau as their, boy, God.
The
And Lachlan
local
is
touch you're looking for.
pissed.
So your total is at 18. So that's 14, 16, 8. That's 3 steps. Okay. So look, it's not like you're who's the guy who ran Apple that everyone lost their minds over?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. You're not Steve Jobs, Lebeau. But when you come into this company, they
Just
don't
Steve
hate you.
Wozniak.
They like you. They like you. You're not a corporate face that, they're just going to see turned over every 2 years, and you're here to trim the fat, make the stock price look good before committing some very serious corporate crimes and then leaving before you can get caught and passing the buck to the next guy.
Yeah, McKinsey energy.
Wow.
Listen, it was like an alley-oop. I set it up there, and
yeah.
Eric was
He's
he's
real
I'm glad
big
we're back
on-
in sync after
I'm bringing it
the
back to the bucket. That's
doubts,
it.
man.
It's Eric Vulgaris.
Oh my God.
We got the rhythm in the second half here.
We're
He's
bringing
real
some
big
Mr.
on-
charm here.
He's real big on the whole we have families that could really use the help, and we've got all these
True.
materials, and it'd be, and then we could, you could do whatever press you wanted to do about building homes for these people and like.
Hey, actually, an idea. One way that you can negotiate, you can be like, hey, actually, I've got a project of building out this compound. If you want to help us, that's one avenue you could take.
And there's because all the people are going to be living on the compounds, and he's like, there's this whole section of it that we're really struggling. We could use your expertise. We really need to figure out a way to house these people in the perimeter, and I know you guys have the skills to do it. Like,
oh my god! So in the boardroom, there's literally just like there's like this guy that's like, look, I was there in person. Okay, I feel like we can really work with Lebeau. All right, he's got that personal touch. And the votes were like 50-50, and then they were like 100% in favor. Everyone wants to hear at the corporate level. That's right. I'm putting the personal touch.
He knows how to connect with the people.
He knows how to get things done, okay? He's not worried about paperwork.
He really isn't. And yeah, he'll make an effort of ensuring that there are other people on the planet who see like images of like kids playing in this playground they just set up. And
no, you can't listen. This show has a high standards for fake advertisement. All right, set the scene for me. Give me some music.
What's the background playing? Yeah.
So there's there's a scene of Lebeau and one of the board members walking, but he's wearing his jacket, but they're both wearing the company hard hats.
Oh yeah.
And they walk past a partially constructed domicile unit, and next to it he's like, oh children, no worries, come on over. And like a bunch of kids come off the playground set to come like hug him and the CEO guy.
and in the background, what are those commercials of like oh gosh, it's like one of those charities of supporting the local children, and it's like, with this everything will be better. I can't remember the name of the commercial, but there's like this music they always play. And
then the end scene is just like an image, and it says like Lebeau Security for You partnered with, and then whatever they call the Hohenheim construction company.
It's the von Hohenheim group. McDougal. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And that's it. It's just like Lebeau Security, Hohenheim, like construction. Hohenheim group. And the Hohenheim group.
Go boldly into the future.
Oh.
Build boldly.
Build boldly.
Rebuilding together. And then like it like zooms
build
out.
Back better.
And it's like it zooms out, and it's like their construction crew going, and then a Lebeau fighter craft flies overhead.
We're not calling it Build Back Better because it's never going to happen if we do that. McDougal, you don't leave empty-handed. There are people on the staff, people at medium to low-high level, who would love to be on your payroll and the von Hohenheim group's payroll at the same time. I'm not going to say corporate espionage because I already said it.
I mean, yeah, Lachlan is definitely down for that.
So look, you're not going to be getting a money flow from them, but if there's a project you need built or materials you need transported, people in the company recognize where money and power is coming from, and it's not a pirate, it's you.
So here's the question, though. Like is there basically any other option when it comes to like labor for Lachlan to use? Because
we're saying, listen,
how do I get the spaceport built?
When I say Hiroka runs the farms, I don't mean he runs 100% of the farms. I mean he runs a significant interest in it. Right, McDougal runs the space. Well, I guess in your case, you do have absolute.
I mean, yeah, they have a. But it's right, they have a monopoly.
You're pretty much the only one that has, because there's one spaceport, right? Like,
that's why I picked it.
And you also gave it away, though, right? You negotiated a deal with Jacobson to allow him to set up spaceports, mini spaceports, to land his dropships at facilities around the world. Now, the building on them has only started; they're years away from being finished. But that will take away a little bit from your power. However, he has agreed to finish the,
Didn't he also agree that I staff them?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's the monopoly anyway.
Yeah, right? But
Medusa doesn't own the spaceport. He just has a monopoly on the ability to run it.
Yes. What he wants is to be able to move stuff directly into his dropships without any interference.
Right. And so, but yeah, as long as I'm running it, I still have the monopoly. I guess the question is like, because the whole idea is still like
You just still
trying
get people to build
this,
stuff. We will. We'll talk about the mech bay. Don't worry about that.
No, honestly, it's not even that. It's the fucking Phase 7 renovation that I was supposed to have gotten funded like 12 years, like 6 sessions ago.
Your own people have to work on that, right? Like constructing terrestrially and constructing in space are two extremely different things. You need skilled labor, and your own people are building it, essentially. It's getting done. Don't worry about it. The money's there. The materials are there. It's all there. Jacobson has ensured that it will happen.
Okay.
Hey, remember, we had
like a bridge to nowhere thing.
We had the spaceport defense mission.
Are you getting rain made right now?
No.
Yes. That's
You're
what
you
it's
had
looking
the
like.
spaceport defense mission, and you managed to download the entire computer core before dumping the station. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm not. Your space station's getting made. Don't worry about it. It's happening. Your own people are making it.
He doesn't have to fictionally do anything.
You don't have to fictionally do anything. It's all
okay.
Jacobson's paid for it. He's brought the materials in. You're good.
That's fine.
You sound like I killed your dog when I told you that. You're like, man, what I really wanted to do is build the spaceport. I'm like, don't worry, the spaceport will get built.
No, I mean, I'm just saying,
will it get built?
I made like six rolls and killed them all, and it's been like 6 years of game time.
I know it's kind of true. We just kind of forgot where we lasted on it. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
No, it's fine.
For sure.
It's fine. Okay, so then I guess the other thing, do we need to have a meeting with Bassett to like get him on the same page with this omnibus thing and like making sure that the tax stuff fits?
He would love for the tax stuff to be in.
Okay.
Just reiterate. Oh, sorry.
Okay, excellent. So I guess the question is, how petty is Lachlan?
It's a great question.
It's pretty fucking petty.
It's true. We've seen it. Outright.
But is he gonna be this petty right now? Probably not. Yeah, okay. I think then the only other thing he has to do is like in the same way, obviously, like the von Hohenheim stuff was the most major like group of assets, but I'm sure there's plenty of other like minor nobility and like rich folks that lost everything. Basically, he's just trying to like come in. It basically do the thing that like loaded billionaires always do when there's like a giant recession and just like come in and buy everything up bottom prices.
And exactly what Bassett did when he went after criminal groups and then bought all their assets.
Yeah.
That's the only way anyone's ever gotten rich.
I don't think that's true.
I know. That's why it's a joke. That's why I'm laughing.
All right.
Forget it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think that is the only.
I don't think you even need to roll for that. If you want to wrap up minor nobility underneath your wing as both a count and as the primary point of contact with the government.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Now, just know their loyalty to you is not based on love for you or trust or anything. It's based entirely in your power. And should you lose it, they will abandon you immediately. All right.
Totally understood.
Listen, just making sure, because sometimes people are like, but I was on the top. How did I lose that? And I'm like, I don't know. They didn't like you.
I feel like Lachlan is one of the few people that understands that deeply.
Well, Sam does. I don't know that Lachlan does.
Oh, fair.
Sorry, because I know I'm taking up a bunch of time. The only other thing I want to do is try to have a conversation with Audrey Lafayette, because now that she's kind of on her own, I want to try to pull her into my political faction.
What's the framework there? Give me the draft.
Yeah, so I think
before we have this conversation, I just want to know how you're going to attempt it.
She's in charge of planetary defense, right?
She isn't. Well, she's in charge of planetary security, which is not the same thing. Okay. So planetary defense is the job of the military. Planetary security is like FBI, CIA, that sort of thing.
Jasper's head of defense now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yes, he is technically until a regular military unit comes in which case they automatically outrank him.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it probably starts off like because he's got time on planet. he maybe it doesn't start like, hey, here's like some political stuff I want to help you out with. It like starts with her, like him like kind of inviting her to events and like, that kind of stuff. And I think kind of dropping hints, so I think one thing is that Lachlan does really respect the part that Audrey Lafayette played in the war, because she, bailed them out hugely. And so I think to start with, he's, very complimentary, and maybe even like says, a couple times, like brings up how he sort of regrets pitting himself against her and Genji in the past, and like how like differently he sort of sees the political landscape, not really of Whittington, but of like the inner sphere differently after the invasion, and kind of playing onto that a little bit. And then I think probably we could even maybe do this as a scene, but eventually I think it would culminate with him sort of inviting her to a dinner or something like that, and saying like, eventually kind of giving a look, where I now need to give you my pitch. Are you open to it?
She's down for that, but she has a pitch to give you first.
Okay, sure.
So she stares at you flatly over the Chianti and the roast beef and says, there's only one thing that I need in order to get behind this. I need to know that when I go after Sebastian Bassett, that you'll back my play. I don't think I know that Bassett is behind the lake bombing, and I think that I can prove it with enough time and enough leeway.
Lachlan takes like a long drink of the wine, right? There's like, that moment, and he will look at her and he will say, my relationship with Sebastian Bassett is more complex than it appears on the surface. While I have a tacit arrangement with him to be opposition in public, but to work on political goals, the reason for that is because I have found him to be like a cockroach, and that every time I make a move to disable him, something else comes up that allows him to scurry away unharmed. Not many people know, but there's a pending lawsuit against him that I've held up because I'm using procedural ability. I was attempting to move against him, and then all of the evidence I had for his criminal activity mysteriously disappeared during the war. What I mean to say is that I may already have some pieces in place. And if you have the evidence you claim,
I don't have the evidence. I need to be able to prove it.
Well,
I need to hear directly from you that you won't get in my way, and then you'll even back me.
Not only will I not get in your way, not only will I back you, but I may already have some leads that you can explore, and I will give you all the information that I've already gathered in my investigations.
Insight check. We'll get some dice here real quick. It's pretty good. That's an 8. She's already got. You're not lying, right? Just to make sure.
I mean, this is all true. Like the only reason, like Lachlan's been working with Bassett because everything reset to the point where he no longer like felt like he had a good opportunity to take him out. Like the whole lawsuit depended on Subaru Shoshone and like all of this evidence that just is no longer.
Well, just remember, Bassett knows that you know.
I know Bassett knows that I know.
Bassett basically flaunted that he killed her.
I know.
He'll stop at nothing.
But, Bassett does think that they have an agreement, and they do have an agreement. But yes. I know Bassett would, in a heartbeat, take out Lachlan if he could, and so Lachlan definitely still feels the same way.
All right, he's acting first. Okay. All right. Now look, she's not gonna vote for anything that goes against the. I think she's even willing to compromise some ideals and some political stuff to join you, but she won't vote for anything that goes against the defense of the Federated Suns.
Mhm.
So if you were like, you know what we should do? We should join the Draconis Combine. She'd be like, no. Also, I shoot you in the head with a pistol.
Well, yeah, I mean, like all like
She's on your side, and she's willing to bend as much as it takes in order to get Bassett.
Got it. The stuff on the table is all like similar to his initial plans, just like easier to fund now that there was a war, and like he can stoke that. Where it's just like spend money on military industry, spend money on bulking up, you know, the spaceport, spend money, you know, that. So it's all I would think at least somewhat in line with Lafayette already. Yeah, so he'll just clear in on all that, and we'll go from there. I think that's going to be helpful for him. And then obviously he spends a lot of time with his wife and kids because during the war he wasn't able to do that. Is Xenia proposing a bill?
She is not proposing a bill. She's not spending a lot of time doing things politically. She's split her time between raising the kids and rebuilding the estate personally, making sure that everyone that was involved in the defense of the estate finds a new home, right? Because those people who came there because their houses were destroyed during the fighting, right? And they were employees, making sure that everyone's got a place to go, and that takes a lot of time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. There is actually one other little thing that Lachlan would want to do.
All right, Columbo.
Sorry. If possible, he's gonna try to start getting people like rumors and like kind of stirrings and mutterings in the political sphere about worries of this foreign Khan influence. You know, using this marriage to start trying to exert political pressure onto Whittington.
What a betrayal! All right, make a roll.
What is this going to do? And
jeez,
look, you know, Lachlan is a petty man, and when you scoop his deal, he has to do something.
So fortunately, I'm still have an undercurrent of intelligence operatives. So I think I'm going to try to counter this with my own anti-campaign or counter-campaign.
Okay. I think that I'll give each of you the option to use leadership or communications to make this roll.
I don't have communications, but I do have leadership.
I also have leadership.
Okay. Make the roll.
What's
both of you fail to get higher than a 10? Well, if either of you fail to get higher than a 10, you're going to get roasted in the public for this messaging, right?
Yeah, it just looks terrible.
You're going to end up on r/the right can't meme, okay?
I was going to say, fucking, listen, Davey and Reddit is ruthless, man.
All right, so we can easily see it. I'm going to roll my dice over here.
Yeah.
You can roll.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Ooh. Oh. Oh.
All right, so I got a 12 total.
You have a
shit,
plus
I just
7?
rolled 3 dice.
Yeah.
I have a plus 8. We're really
Wait,
good at
how
this
many?
shit.
What rolls? What dice?
I'm re-rolling. I know. I'm re-rolling the 2.
He set these 2
that.
dice aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have taken
You
those 2.
just rolled 3 with your dice. And I was like,
I know.
But I knew those were his 2 dice.
All right, so I need to
you get
roll...
absolutely fucking stomped.
8 plus 8
hold on,
is
I'm
16.
8 plus 8.
Yeah, he's 6 points higher than you. Yes, like I said, you're getting stomped.
Yeah. I don't know if
I'm
I
gonna
can.
spend
I
a
could
point of
re-roll
edge to
with
re-roll.
edge.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So we don't. You have edge, but we also have plot points, right?
Yeah, but
Those
can
are
I use
only
plot
during
points for like the end of year
battle.
stuff or?
No.
I thought that was plot points were only for battles.
No, plot points are mostly for non-battles.
Yeah.
All right, let me search for plot points and see what they do. It's probably not re-roll both dice though.
Probably reroll 1, I would imagine.
Character dice needs plot points. So the problem is a lot of the plot point stuff is tied to the shitty like battle system that they tied in. The alternative mech resolution table.
If you can reroll 1, I may as well use it, I feel like, because if I can get up to 18, I get a better result, right?
It's true.
Okay. I mean, you can use edge or plot point, however you want to do it.
I guess I'll use a plot point.
Still looking for how plot point works.
Oh, that's a good roll.
Ooh.
Oh, and it goes down by 1.
I think I beat you then.
Probably.
Yeah, because I have a 7, you have an 8. Yeah.
I need to edit my post to address the following criticisms.
But you still got over the 10.
Killing
So
it, Eric.
we still
To
got
my
over the
edit.
10. We still got over the 10, so we're okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
Neither of you got
I
roasted.
feel like I haven't explained my point well enough.
Oh, hey, Sam, I
man.
love this like, because one, Anko hasn't really gotten too deep into the political space. Like, she's kind of played it back a little bit, and so the fact that you've come after her a little is like,
No, well, hold on. That's not what happened here. You came after him first.
no, like, she legitimately was looking at the von Hohenheim states as like a way to establish her on planet, because she has nothing. She's rebuilding her entire infrastructure on planet.
Look, it's okay for the two of you to see two different ways at the same situation.
That's what I'm saying. I recognize that that's how Anko sees it. But when Lachlan started working on a deal, and then Anko sent her people to go make it so that she got the deal instead, there's no way for him to see that other than her acting and moving against him.
So what are the final results for the two of you?
I lost. I got a 1 less of 15.
11 plus 7, 18.
Okay. Both of you have excellent messaging, like crazy good. But a few late night talk show roasts suddenly start to snowball against you, Lachlan. Anko is viewed kind of oddly by the populace. She has a really strong draconian attachment, but there also with that comes like a sense of honor and responsibility and community that Lachlan has yet to establish so much. He's definitely established the sort of wise overlord, wealthy, powerful, but Anko is like, Anko is the grassroots politician who can get down there, and that's that charm, that sort of honesty, authenticness works a little bit against you. It's close, and it's incredibly divisive to the planet. Like, everyone is equally committed to this message, and you know, people who are neighbors one day are suddenly at each other's throats. They're like, "You're not back behind Uncle Khan. What's wrong with you, man? Don't you understand how the world works?"
To be clear, the whole point of the message is it's supposed to basically align Anko.
Yes, it's
basically just talking about the cons. It's not about Anko at all, right? The whole point is that Anko is a piece in a game that a foreign power is playing to get influence on Whittington. That's the whole idea, right?
Boy.
It's not supposed to be. So maybe that's what failed, right? Is maybe it just became about
Uncle
Lachlan
Khan,
versus
community
Anko.
ties.
But the idea that Lachlan is trying to like get at is it's just like, oh no, like it's these like foreign, like the Khan house is now like trying to come in over Whittington, and look at the power that they have back over, you know, in
XYZ planet,
the Federated Sun's homeworld, and it's only a matter of time before, you know, more of these old houses in the inner sphere come to exert their power on Whittington. Lots of that.
And then the crowd answers with, "But Anko is our Khan."
Exactly.
Oh my god. Well, I think the messaging isn't so much of like from Anko's perspective, isn't so much of like the attacking or like counteracting the brand and image of Lachlan and like the messaging there, but more of like, no, the cons mean nothing, like don't mean any harm of coming here to Whittington. They mean to bring and bolster, you know, our society in a learning from the past, which is kind of Anko's thing.
You know, I feel like
Or Khan's thing.
They're from Bryceland. They're literally from right next door. They're one jump away.
I feel like there could be an interesting angle where Lebeau is showing Anko's strong community support with the contract that he secured.
Oh yeah.
helping the
both
people
ways, right?
rebuild and
That's
get
it.
more
LeBeau
Right.
keeps
They're
working against you
foreigners.
at every
They're
corner,
foreigners.
McDougal.
Right, it goes both ways, right? Because it's funding it's funding a community project, but it's also funding a community project for a bunch of new people to Whittington. So it's a little bit both.
It's divisive. Everyone just
That's,
wants
yeah,
to.
I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
that's why it's right.
And
No
I
one
feel
wants
like
these
you're-
outsiders. It's just a question of who's the outsiders at this point.
Exactly.
You're inspiring xenophobia, and I'm inspiring, growth and expansion to all.
Wow,
Correct.
that's one way to look at it. All
I mean,
right,
it's fact.
Jasper, you got anything you want to put on the table before the Karensky Ball?
No, I got nothing to report. I'm just hanging out with my wife. I'm just having like good,
That's
I'm a
good.
wife guy.
So Admiral Lebeau
A
would
wife
like
guy.
to at some point speak with Baron Haroka at his convenience.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
The plot just thickened.
Oh yeah, well, we're
Okay.
having a nice dinner. Tamari, we're having Tamari's favorite, which is probably some kind of like rock lobster.
Isn't it Count Haroka?
Yes,
Is it Count Haroka? Okay,
Yes,
let me update
I'm
that.
counting. Yeah. Baron Davies, would Davies be a Baron because he's a subset of me? Or
he-
Count? No,
His grandfather is
counties
the,
are smaller than baronies.
yes. His grandfather's the Baron.
Yeah. Okay.
Davies is
Regardless, we're in the nice big dining room table. You know what I mean? It's like really long. It's way too long, and we're all like huddled on one side here.
Way
It's like
too
really nice
long.
and candlelit.
you're so far away from the fire at the far end.
Yeah.
The candlestick's
nice.
talking to you for some reason, and
That's a tale as old as time.
So,
anyways.
so Lebeau has been invited to dinner.
Yeah, I imagine we're like mid meal. You know, when you bring this up.
Good count. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your hospitality.
Oh, of course, Lebeau. Surprised no one else offered it to you.
I have to admit, I was a little bit worried that maybe we may not have been so well received on the planet, but I'm glad that it appears that you can see into my heart.
Well, some people forget the old ways of showing hospitality to both friends and enemies.
oh,
Ah,
whoa,
yes.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Quite
whoa.
wise.
No,
quite
Stop.
wise.
I didn't mean anything by that.
No. I need to cut in here. Has Philip been invited?
No, this is just a nice. This is a casual meal.
You listen. He was about to top off, man. He was about to blow up. You keep
All
going.
right.
Keep going. All right. I'll keep my Philip rage
Well, I mean,
inside
it's not
like a
my
badger.
scene. It's the Admiral. If you want him there, you can be there, dude. Like, it's your scene. I can rock and roll regardless. I just figured we're just having a nice casual meal, and you kind of wanted a private conversation with me.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay.
So one of the things that I had talked about was when being given permission to come be members of this wonderful world was that we would assist with the security.
Yes.
I can't help but notice, and I do not say this in any detracting way, since your planet has recently suffered a war, but I appear to have significantly more space assets than the military here. And I would love to, how would you say, augment your orbital security if you would wish for us to provide such a service.
I do think there's a strong case to be made that an augmented space force would serve the country or serve Whittington.
Yes, we are. Now that
You
we
have
live
to-
here, we are just
yeah.
as interested in a safe home as I'm sure
Yeah.
you are.
Very much so. But you have to understand that Whittington's a country of laws, and I would have to bring this up to the Senate.
Of course. I only wish to offer it. I know that in part of the communications before we arrived, it was that we would not become members of your military. We would still be. We would be the House Navy of House Khan, but there would be, of course, all of that battle space would always belong to you, and we would be there to assist you.
Yeah. This war has taught me that titles and pageantry, when it comes to the military, is a different matter. Protection, the saving of lives is what matters.
Yes, it's a very practical point. It's one that I also share. We have very different strategic experience, And I'm sure that we could both benefit from protecting the planet, utilizing these experiences we both share.
Yeah, I'm just nodding along. Like this is some. You don't have to convince me super hard of this. What I mean is there like an obvious consequence that like I should be thinking of about this that I'm not, because all I see is upside right now. This is obviously out of character.
What's up, Doug?
Upside. It's also.
I'm thinking of Whittington. The pros and cons for Whittington overall.
I mean, it seems like
Just paying a
6 1/2
subcontractor.
dozen for Whittington. It seems like it's really the main benefit is for Lebeau and the con house for Onco. I mean, all in all, like it seems like 6 1/2 dozen, unless we're facing like real problem, unless like you already have problems from pirates. The only, I guess, downside from Hiroka's standpoint, I guess, would it just be means that you have another piece that's outside of your house that you're relying on as part of your key industry.
Yeah. I think Tamari comes back with like the like I don't know, the dessert, right, that we're having, flan. She makes it herself. It's very good. And she's like, well, if it will keep mechs from dropping into our meta wheat fields, I can't see why there's any downside. As she kind of remarks about it. So yeah,
Like every time. Every
time. So well,
It's a nice flat landing area, though. It's really
I know, it's
great
why
for
it's
bringing the
just-
dropship to strategic location outside of the main spaceport.
One of the primary rivers is full of debris.
It's fucking full of missiles.
Oh, yeah.
and like a burnt out reactor.
Oh yeah.
It's like
no.
an old, oh my god.
I love
There's
it.
a full mech in there.
But yeah. So Master Lebeau, I believe you can find you and your force well accommodated here for Whittington, or at least the short term.
Well, that is good to hear. I hope that in time it will become a long-term relationship, and that the people of Whittington will stay warm with us for years.
Agreed. Whittington deserves peace.
Yes, it appears that that you have had your time of strife, and it is now a time to heal.
Indeed. May we never need use of your cause. Basically, like, to future peace,
Yes, there was a thing I heard once: walk softly and carry a big stick.
Big sticks.
2 big sticks. You wouldn't happen to have any chamomile tea? I do enjoy the wine, but I've developed a recent taste for this.
Cool.
That's
good.
That's what he wanted to do.
Remarking about the food is always the easy way to end the scene.
Jasper, shortly
Yeah, what's
after that particular meeting,
Yeah.
you receive a communique.
Oh, I do.
From Philip
Joseph?
Davies,
Okay.
indicating to you that he has seen how Lebeau treats his friends. You would do well to keep him at arm's length. Wow, people are acting like that was super spicy. The man abandoned 600 people on an asteroid, guys.
I'm with you. I didn't think it was that spicy. I mean, he's a known pirate. Like, we know he's not a good guy.
Well, I may have some more ambiguity before.
I'm
but
actually mad at
Wait.
no. I'm actually I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, I'm actually more mad at Davies.
Okay.
He's like, I mean, like, he's actually like right to do this. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he
but,
went
like,
there. He saw it
Yeah,
himself.
he went there.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, A, don't care. B, didn't ask.
His grandfather answers that particular communique with, it's respectful, but it's basically like, when I became a knight, we made a promise, an oath to each other that you would seek wise counsel and I would give it. If you do not prefer the counsel of the House of Davies, we will remain silent. And you can find wisdom elsewhere. Like, So I'm not saying your supply of delicious baked goods is cut off, but the macaroons are being replaced with croissants. Is all I'm saying.
Wow, I didn't know we were okay. I didn't know this was a group message. Okay.
I mean, he's the head of the house, right? Like,
Yeah. No, wait.
It's not a group message thing, right? Like, this is an official.
Davies, I thought my squire was giving me this message, which is why
Davies,
I'm like
Phillips at the first one, and then you were like, "Oh, let's just shut up."
Don't
loser.
care, didn't ask.
And
Yeah,
his grandfather
squire.
responds, like he takes it back to his family a couple days later, and his grandfather's like, "I thought you wanted
now I
wise
gotta
counsel."
show up with some flowers and apologize to the Davies.
Maybe don't talk mad shit to Philip. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
He's my squire. I'm like, talk to him whenever I damn please.
it's kind of like it's the contradiction of what Davies said to what you actually value, which is these people were pirates. Lebeau was abandoning the piracy to find a better life, and they wanted to continue.
Maybe. I mean, Lebeau
That is what Lebeau
That's
has
fine.
told you.
Yeah. Has the piracy really stopped? I mean, he does seem to be getting in the way of a lot of things right now.
I mean, it's basically
you really have to appreciate it when an immigrant gets deeply involved in local politics and starts inserting himself in business. But
hey, I mean, I don't see any. I literally see no difference between what was happening with Lachlan's politics and like maneuvers than what Lebeau's doing. So
all I'm saying is that
right.
when the
Listen.
immigrant you're talking to has the nickname the Butcher, but he's never touched an animal in his life, you have to ask.
Look,
No, you're
I'm
right.
fine
The
with
only
this.
the only difference is privilege and legitimacy. That's the only difference in any context, right? It's like what the king does is, noble and
Considered
and
legitimate,
glorious
yeah.
and legitimate. And if the butcher down the street does the same thing, they get thrown in jail. So it's
It's good to be the
probably-
king.
yeah, it's not such a good thing, but that's the unfortunate truth.
Look,
of
I'm
it.
constantly going to be playing. I'm constantly going to be playing Jasper in that he's always willing to give people a chance,
yeah.
like in a bad way.
Really? I can think of
And-
one man
but
who
I
won't
will
give a
give
chance.
to you as soon as I find out about your stuff.
Yusuf
and, like,
shows up
to
when you say
detriment.
that.
Yeah, look at you. Juxtapose this. Yeah.
The only other thing that Philip wants to do is he'll have noticed this campaign that went on between the cons, the whole outside influence
the
thing.
McDougalls. Yeah.
And he would like to take the opportunity to start spreading around how even in this time of strife, the House of Lachlan had the generosity to help supply his people at a discounted price, despite the struggle that everyone on the planet is feeling. As like an olive branch, like, I really needed this, but I'm not trying to fuck you. So let me give you let me, reach out and let you know, like, by doing it through the people.
Oh my God. Listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit down and watch real person television and there's a Boeing commercial about engines and you're like, what fucking normal person is ever going to buy an aircraft engine? They're not trying to sell you the engines. They're trying to sell you the image. And I think that's what Lebeau is
Any
doing.
idea how long I've been looking for a Boeing 747 engine on Craigslist, man?
They won't sell one to me. It's so annoying.
I feel like Lebeau
It's
puts out
almost like it's regulated.
a series of commercials that's, pro McDougal, right? Like, when I arrived here, I had nothing but my fleet. And the House of McDougal opened their doors to me. I wouldn't be who I am today without their help. A successful businessman.
All these flash cuts of like Lebeau's ships docking at the space station to resupply, and then like the food supplies coming from a shipment from Lachlan. Yeah, just a super cut of that sort of stuff.
All right. We are
Love
definitely not going to finish the Karensky Ball, but I would like to start it. Audrey Lafayette has invited you all to third-party locations, since her estate is not what one would call in particularly good shape to uphold this event. So the venue is somewhat slightly outside the city, and the top act tonight, the big thing that everybody wants to see beyond, all of the nobles, is that over the last few months, there's a show that's been blowing up all over Whittington local, and it's also been spreading locally to other planets. where the members of the local Talent 7 idol group help young women who've recently broken up with their boyfriends find emotional support pangolins from the nearby forest so that they can create new, long-lasting emotional bonds. You think?
Oh my god!
You think that this is unusual?
Money.
I literally caught my mom watching this exact show, but for dogs. All right.
What?
Yeah, no. I love this. I love it. No. This show is no wonder this show is taking off. It's doing numbers.
So, you know, it rotates through the members. There's the leader who's kind of a bit older than everybody else and is starting to get involved in politics. And then there's like the new one who's 15 years old, and like the woman that she helps is her age. And then there's the one who dresses like a witch who helps other goth women find pangolins who are kind of dark and mysterious.
And this whole entire episode, there's been hints that this is going to be like a plot point from like the Valentine Brum report about, and then like, you know what I mean? Like they were like the last guest on, and then like as like we see the scene of scrolling through the Federated Sons Reddit, we see pictures of like, and this is me and my pangolin as before it gets to the left. You know what I mean? Like there's like all of this like, oh my god. Anyways,
so for those at home, pangolins are like Chinese tree armadillos with incredibly thick armor. Normally, here on Earth in our timeline, pangolins are an endangered species. As I've mentioned before, in the Whittington's future, a mostly arboreal planet that makes luxury exotic woods, pangolins have thrived on this world, and they're one of the most numerous non-insectoid species on the planet. So there are more pangolins than there are humans. Yeah. So, you know, there's this thing on Whittington right now that equates, they try to give pangolins personality and equate their wants with, you know, emotions and such. So, yeah,
oh my god,
this pangolin is so moody. Okay, she's so moody. She's just like me. What a bitch! I'm taking her home today.
Oh man. I think because the Karensky Ball is on Christmas Eve, right?
No, it's on November 5th, which is the day where Karensky left the Endosteel.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind then. For some reason, I thought it was like Christmas for some reason. I don't know why.
It's like Christmas because it's where we do all of our end of the year discussions.
Okay.
So just so you know,
I was going to say that Lachlan got the twins a pet pangolin for Christmas.
Why not? Just get it early. Get it to them. Yeah. The pangolin's bigger
like
than they
puppy.
are, right? They're like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah,
I can go check my notes later.
Instead of getting them a puppy, he gets them a pangolin.
Spends a lot of time hanging on the side of trees. Moving really slowly and blinking.
Well, I'm going to make the assumption that I am not here.
No, you've been invited. You're a
I have?
You're a knight. Yeah.
All knights get invited.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All the nobility have been invited.
Excellent.
So, you know, the headline, of course, is the 7 members of Talent 7 who are, you know, now strongly associated with pangolins. The whole exhibit hall is one of Bassett's like historical, you know, like this is it's the history of, you know, the Federated Sons between the 23rd and 25th century sort of deal. You know, proto-Federated Sons. Lots of old-ass uniforms and ceremonial weapons and discussions on politics and walls with speeches about constitutional rights and the secret 5th right of the Federated Sons, which is that the citizens can overthrow the government as long as they feel strongly enough about it and the government won't stop them. You know, like that? No, that's it. I swear to God, look on Sarna. If you, the secret 5th rule of the Federated Sons is if your local noble is doing a bad job, bad enough that you would kill to do it, and you overthrow him, the Federated Sons is like, guess you're the new noble now. Yeah. No consequences for murder.
Must have been a reason.
Yeah, it must have been a reason. If you felt that badly that you wanted to get together and kill them. I just
more meant that the whole like, and the nobles won't stop you part is more like,
I mean, there's a reason why. There's a reason why a lot of the 3025 Battlemechs have like small lasers and machine guns, so it's pretty easy to hit people. Yeah.
Dark. Love it.
You
Okay.
all have received minutes before arrival an indication that Baron Genji is awake, and he will be attending privately the gathering of nobles towards the end of the ball, but he will not be attending the ball itself.
Wow.
Og. What a boss.
Who
Good for him.
enters first? Which one of you is the
So
you're
I'm just
here
going to go
too,
ahead.
Philip, if you want to enter first.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that Philip plans to arrive just after Baroness Khan, whenever that is.
Okay.
He plans to arrive right after her.
I was going to offer as an olive branch that I was going to offer that Lachlan and Jasper enter first as a recognition of their station.
People
Is that
say
how that
that
works?
the last person to enter is the most important one because the party can't get started without them.
That's fair.
I just wanted to shift
I-
the conversation up real quick.
I mean, I don't remember.
Make
I
things
mean,
more difficult.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Anko is very skilled in protocol, so she would know these things and take the right direction. But essentially,
I mean, the
enter
right direction, there is no right direction here. That's only a question of who shows up first and who shows up last. The two
Fair
most important things.
I'm fine with showing up first if we want to.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Lachlan can be the first one to arrive then. Since
Bringing
the
the
war
wife,
is over,
bringing the kids?
Oh yeah. Everyone, the whole fam's there, whole family. I think.
Big question.
Yes.
Are you bringing the Duchess? All 5 years old of her.
Yes.
Okay. Are you personally escorting her, or are you letting someone better in childcare?
I think probably.
You've
Lachlan-
indicated you're good at taking care of kids, but I don't know how good you are at political maneuvering while taking care of a 5-year-old who owns the planet.
I think Lachlan does like a nice, like walks in with her, like making a show of
Yeah,
like
get the pictures.
Like, everyone sees them entering together, and then like very quickly after it starts to be like now we're like in the ball, and like I need to like interact with other people. It's like passes her off to somebody who's supposed to be taking care of the child.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Lachlan, he's back to his after the war. The war's over, so he's back to his kind of outrageous suits. It's probably like some kind of wild purple patterned suit.
Have you seen that Wisdom K guy, the fashion mogul on Twitter?
Oh,
Who did the anime shit? Yeah.
Oh yes, I actually did see
for
that.
sure believe that
dope.
guy would be bank on Solaris.
Yeah, that would be that stuff was dope. And I think he also obviously his kids are in like fancy stuff, so like his son also has a fancy outrageous suit. It's all good.
Who enters last?
Go ahead.
No, I shouldn't be last. I'm not here. I was just going to mention that Tamari and I, we're not doing the more like newest, richest, fanciest fashions and stuff like that. That's not the place for like the Marshall.
The heartland of
that's just not
Hiroka, It's got to be conservative colors.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic fits.
It's exactly. It's very timeless fashion, very very classic.
It's
very
rough on her, She's
I
an
know.
influencer.
I know, but she does look really good. So
True.
But like that's obviously the talk is like, oh, it's a little disappointing they didn't do that kind of stuff. And then we let some people down tonight. We let the old guard, as you mentioned, down.
Sapako and Lebeau enter last then. Sorry, Khan and Lebeau enter last.
Yes. So I think Uncle Khan specifically like enters and then introduces like
His newest knight,
time.
Philip Lebeau.
Yeah, so it's like introducing Sir Philip Lebeau.
So he's changed his outfit up a little bit.
And yeah, just to describe that real fast. So Anko and again, I need to make sure I have this written down somewhere. But I believe it's black and white are the colors of House Khan. And so it would be kind of a mash of those two, with a full black with embroidered floral like lotus petal or lotus openings in like kind of a silk what is it called, fold over dress, where like it kind of wraps around the shoulder towards the back, and there's kind of like an open back. So a mixture of traditional and modern.
Lebeau, what else you got?
So Lebeau still has the same style of overcoat, the whole like very obvious colonial pirate jacket kind of thing going, but it's black with white trim. All the tassels are white and everything. And I mean, his uniform, he has changed to be black with white trim. And like the edges of like the front of his jacket, the way down, it has the same floral pattern that Anko has. And he'll give a really big exaggerated bow at his introduction.
One last bit, since I keep forgetting, this is very important. Anko's hair is kind of up in a oh man, it's like an intricate. I'm trying to like just figure out how to describe it, but basically it's like it's up in a bun with various like needles that go through it, and then it has various braids that kind of like create this intricate design, meant to represent like the knit and the connection between others in Whittington.
Okay. I would like to describe the others in attendance right now. Obviously, Duchess Harmony Lake, 6 years old. Her knight, Celeste Reincolt, and Celeste's mother, Rosamund Alicia Robinson. Did you bring your children, Maya and Carmen, with you, Jasper?
They're too young.
Yeah, they're really young. Paul Khan is not in attendance. Yohei Genji is said that he'll be here, even if he's not here right now. Obviously, Audrey Lafayette, Sebastian Bassett Latour, and his wife, Angelique Bassett Latour, both in attendance. Xenia Menshkov McDougal is here as well. Sir Maximilian Jacobson has resurfaced once again. As soon as the fighting's over, he's suddenly everywhere. Just like Jacobson Unlimited is everywhere.
It's unlimited.
And reporter for Donegal Broadcasting Company, James Shives, is here doing the local reporting. The Davies family has sent their son, Leopold Davies, who is technically Philip's uncle, I think. No, it's his father. They basically sent one person, and it's the least important member of the family. They're kind of really upset about everything that's happening with Lebeau, and what just happened with House Hiroka. So they just sent the guy, the businessman who owns 2 of the Triple F burgers, so that he can make business connections here tonight. He's not really representing the family politically. He's here to shake hands and open up a third one on the West Coast. Just needs to get that paperwork done.
Good for him. Good for him.
Audrey Lafayette gives a speech in... It's like a classic movie theater, right? Instead of everybody standing around in the party, everyone is seated in a sort of 1920s silent film era. There's even a space for a band at the front while she's on stage. Images of what she would consider the best parts of the war. People pitching in together, people being saved from burning buildings, that sort of thing. People sharing what they have, doing whatever it takes. She gives a speech about necessity and duty, and that those who remain are the strongest. And after that, everyone is dismissed. It's a highly odd Karensky Ball with minimal dancing. But things break down pretty quickly when Bassett begins giving a speech himself, talking about how his relationship with McDougal and Hiroka and Khan and Lafayette, that together, it's not friendship, it's love that exists between these houses, and only the ones who made it through this war, the people who stood loyally by Whittington and by his side, he loves them, and we all love each other. And whatever we do in the future, we go there together. There were differences, but the war has broken down all barriers between, the remaining houses that are left. There is only peace now, peace and friendship and love, and it's being well received on anybody who isn't in the high know of high politics and knows that McDougal and Bassett hate each other. What do any of you want to do at this particular ball? And when we're done, we move to... we're getting close to the end, so we're probably not going to get to the secret noble meeting at the end that we always have, but...
I think that's pretty much the only thing.
Oh, okay. No one has any plots to advance here at the Karensky Ball?
I mean... Admiral Lebeau.
Yes, Admiral.
Yeah, what do we got?
Would you like to acquire some more businesses, interfere in local politics some more? Please tell me.
He understands that given the background of his people, that he wishes to try to assess how the how he is being received by Baroness Lafayette about his presence on world.
All right, you don't need to make a roll for that. She considers you to be the next. Once she's done with Bassett, you're next. You're a filthy pirate. You may have gotten amnesty for past crimes. You'll step out of line, and she'll be there to get you. I mean, she probably just passes you while you're getting something to eat and just says, "As soon as you step out of line, I'm gonna get you."
I got my eye on you.
You people always go back to what you really are. Trash.
Oof.
I've got planetary security on you, Lebeau. You take one step out of line and I'm going to come down on you with the entire government of the Federated Suns. And you may think that you're the king of the periphery, but you're not even a pauper here.
Please take a close look. So when you see that it is not in blood, but in action, you will see that we are here.
Try the
In
Monte
good spirits.
Cristos. They're
Oh,
delicious.
I will.
She walks away.
Well then.
Yeah, she hates you.
Yeah.
I mean, there was never gonna be peace between your people. She woke up and chose violence.
Yeah. I think that would be one thing that Anko would generally try to do is try to introduce Lebeau as like, you know, someone that can benefit Whittington, and it's like trying not to strain, you know, Anko's current political standing necessarily, but at least do some level of like, hey, this is a person that I'm bringing into my house to help Whittington.
You're not willing to go to bat for him. You're just introductions.
No. I think there's definitely a like I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to deflect political tension and make sure that the blow is received well enough. So I don't know exactly what you mean by don't want to go to bat for him.
I mean,
It sounded like you don't want to expend political capital.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly what the first thing you said was you didn't want to get involved. And then you said, all right, I want to get involved. So I'm just confused. Are you willing to risk it to improve Lebeau's standing or not? If you're just willing to make introductions and that's it, then that's it. No roll needed.
No, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get this roll then. I will accept communications or
Protocol
negotiation.
or negotiation. Okay.
I would accept protocol here, actually, for
I think maybe
introducing him.
protocol is more appropriate than negotiations
Yeah.
because negotiations feels more one-on-one, right?
Perhaps.
But I mean, I've got a 7 in protocol, so that's
6 and 1/2 dozen then for you.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so you need to hit a 12 protocol roll. Not like that.
That still gets me
Still
a 12.
Yeah,
But
barely. Oh, you're spending edge?
How much edge have you spent?
I've only spent 1.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that works. That gets me a +2.
Lebeau, there are several people at this party who have not given you the time of day before. You have attempted to communicate with their offices, and their offices are busy indefinitely. Lady Khan manages to open some doors for you. She opens them by sticking her foot in the door jamb and then kicking it relentlessly and then prying it with her hands as much as possible. When that doesn't work, and they bring down the barriers, she gets her lightsaber and pushes it through the middle of it. Until they get you on that bridge to talk to that diplomat from the Trade Federation.
Wow, you made that way more dramatic than I was expecting. Oh my god.
We made a roll about it. It's going to be dramatic.
I'm cool with being a Jedi. That's fine, you know.
LeBeau's position is his goal for this is to take the opportunity to get known by people he hasn't been able to speak before, and he's doing things very much from like a he's trying to be very obvious that he understands, and he is not asking anybody what they think of his people. He only asks for the opportunity to show that his loyalty to his Baroness and to the people of Whittington may speak louder than his reputation, and he may have a better one in the future. He's not asking anyone for anything, and he's not trying to be like, yeah, I'm a great guy and you should think so. He's like, I know that you probably don't think so. I only ask that you take the opportunity to judge me on my merits here.
Final scene. Got that end stinger for you. Lebeau, you're not invited. No knights allowed. We need
secret
baronial level. Jacobson is invited, if only because he's been invited to these before and he's a significant contributor of the planet. You all move to the back room. So this would normally be like the exhibit restoration and repair room. It's been cleared out so that there's enough space for a hospital bed in here. It's pretty clear when you enter that Genji is not even going to be able to sit up to speak to you. And as you enter, a doctor quietly explains to each of you privately that he will probably never be a Mechwarrior again, and it could be months or years before he even learns how to walk. Because I know that TV will tell us people in comas miraculously stand up and, start doing some Rain Man level shit, but the truth of the matter is that you forget how to even talk after you've been in a coma, and you got to retrain everything. So Genji is down and out, and his military contributions are going to be fully relegated to his defense forces, Pac Charlemagne.
Man.
That means he and his special Fire Fist Dragon are no longer on your side. That thing's, it's a Sunday mech now, That's it. Everybody take 3 XP.
Okay.
Man, just like I almost dueled. I mean, literally my head, it's like, man, I almost dueled that guy.
He would kill you. He would have killed you
like,
for sure.
Just a different time, a different place, a different reality. Like that could be me. Is actually really what I'm thinking, And that's a scary thought. I think about I got a flashback of the Hatchet Man with the SRM signals going crazy, and it was like all the close calls I ever faced.
Imagine
holding my
being
daughter.
able to pilot a mech. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Let me propose. I think it's unlikely that we will have an episode on the 26th unless the 3 of you can. Yeah, I didn't think so. What about January 2nd?
I'm in.
Spoiler: if it's a Sunday, I can do it.
We don't need. Listen, we'll talk about it if we need you.
I'm unlikely. I don't know for sure, but I'm very unlikely.
The 9th?
9th, I'm most likely good.
Okay. All right. Listen, Kate, we love you. We have you here. You have a Battletech show you're already on.
I know. I'm just being
Listen,
silly.
if I need a guest at short notice, I'll make sure to call you. But what we really need, listen, Rad ran this idea behind me that instead of I remaining neutral in the future, that I get a couple guests on to do like 3 or 4 guests to run one lance, and then the players run another lance, and we just do like a 1 mech each player versus player battle. I don't know. Rad's a crazy man.
That'd be fun.
That would
sounds
be
awesome.
brutal.
It would be
think about it.
super brutal.
Yeah, it would also be long.
Well, like we found out with the Merc mission, that depends on
That Merc mission was 7 hours long.
and we did a lot in 7 hours because we kept things rolling.
7 hours, man. It's the longest Battletech session I've ever had. I've done a lot of Battletech. We'll see if we can get us in here on the 9th. Congratulations, though. If you are not a Patreon member, your Christmas present is a December 26th episode of this show. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey.
Soundwave, if you're watching this, make sure you get your goddamn family sheet to this guy beneath me down here. The two of you need to talk for once. Because we're doing end of year shit, and you better have a goddamn sheet, or you're gonna have a lot of trouble.
Lachlan
You
is
need
going
to
be
talk to your
boned.
other wife.
You show
Lachlan is
No. Oh my God.
Oh
Wow.
shit!
Wow.
It's the problem with being spiritually married. Yeah.
Lachlan is boned for end of the year because I was really counting on that business deal to help me when it comes to recovering the fact that I am getting financially reamed.
You may be better than you expect, but yes, all of you will be facing difficulties.
Yeah, that was another reason why Uncle was aiming for that too.
Aren't I hurt because of the Comstar stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
We're all hurt because of that.
No one is as bad as McDougal.
That's fair.
It's like
when your entire business revolves on being able to send telegrams to other people.
Yeah. The housing recession was bad for everyone. It was especially bad if you sold houses.
Wow, straightforward. I like that.
Oh man, I forgot to do something actually.
What did you forget to do? Can you do it in less than 1 minute?
He was gonna try. Lebeau was gonna try to broker some kind of thing.
A housing recession, you monster.
Yes. For House Con with Lachlan about using when they all come back to commit to a certain amount of time to help coordinate your business deals with his jump ship to carry messages. They try to help you economically.
No. Listen. After we do the end of year stuff, Lady Khan needs to borrow your jump ship to go to the Outworlds Alliance and go collect her people. Okay, the two of you are committed for a little while.
Sure.
Listen. That's just what I remember. Eddie saying he wanted to do was to go
at some point. Yeah.
Jump and I figured it would be in the new year. You would go pick people up.
That mission launches when Anko says it launches.
I think regardless, we would have to probably push that to another time because we need a scene if to do a business deal after Lachlan
especially after the last thing.
Lachlan is honestly I think basically any business exec, if you blow up their big eye candy deal and then try to go the next day offer them a deal, they're probably gonna have some trouble meeting with you. And Lachlan's got all that with a extra bonus of noble privilege and expecting to get everything he wants because he wants it and he's a noble. So I'm down to have a scene about it, but we would definitely, it's not something we can take care of in 1 minute.
All right.
Future plans.
We might see you in 3 weeks, audience, or longer. We meet when we can. Hopefully in January we can start meeting more regularly.
That'd be good.
Have a good time zone, I guess.
Yeah.